How you doing? And thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency strobe lighting and equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, SUVs, jet skis, and 2022 beautiful beautiful Super Duties, just like you see right here. Factory LED package, front and back, just a gorgeous truck all around. Love these Ford Super Duties. Can't get enough of them. What we're showing is an auto flasher kit on those 5 cab clearance lights. Now this video is going to be a little longer. This is the in-depth one. Those 5 cab clearance lights, this is a wire cut kit at this time. If you want to split them up and flash them intermittently, you can. The kit has all the contents to do either what you see here, flashing all 5 simultaneously, or splitting up the 5 into a group of 3 and 2 and flashing them alternatively or intermittently. Below that, we have our plug-and-play white mirror light flasher, and that's for the white spotlights on the mirrors. You do need to have the white spotlights. So if you don't have the white spotlight switches that are on the left side of the dash above the headlight, you might not have white spotlights in your mirrors. But if you do, you can verify and grab that white spotlight kit that you see right there, plug and play under the dash, no modification required, absolutely easy, 10-second install. Below that, we have our headlight and turn signal, our DRL and front signal, to be proper, auto flasher kits on the front headlights. Those are no-cut kits. We are not cutting any factory wiring with that. We are swapping one of the factory wires in the factory plug. We send you the wiring pre-terminated. It's ready to go, so you can just switch the wiring out. It's a very easy process. Now that is 2 kits on the front there, one on the white DRL and one on the amber signal. They are synchronized, that's optional, and they are on an alternating pattern, that's optional as well. You can set all that up, customized to your taste once you install the kits. Below that, we have our low dome HAW Duo. That's a very small 1-inch light, typically used for drilling into a factory housing, but when you have very limited space, you can back mount the HAW and get a decent output of light on a 1-inch circle. So what we do on those fog bezels is on the inboard side, we drill a nice clean 1-inch hole. We clean the back of the bezel and we back mount that hideaway to the bezel with some RTV sealant. We glue it right on there from behind. Never had one fall out yet. And as you can see, it throws a good pocket of light all around the fog bezel forward. So you definitely see that amber or whatever color you want to flash on the fog bezel facing forward. But most importantly, those fog bezels face sideways. So when you're nosing out in traffic and you can't quite see the rest of the truck, that front bumper fog bezel will absolutely give you some great warning to let people know you're coming out of an alley or you're coming through a side street or whatever instance that puts you at 90 degrees from the oncoming traffic. So front fog light and also rear tail light side bezel, extremely important when you're at 90 degrees to traffic because the traffic can't see the front of the back of your truck. They can only see the side profile. Now you can also see here how you do notice that white mirror on the side profile as well as those badge lights. Those Thin X LIN badge lights, they do a real killer job. And that's in our side badge right there. It's a Thin X light and it's our linear series lens in an amber and white. Very popular light, has a steady white flood override, which we did utilize in this build, as well as many flash patterns. You can even choose if you'd like to flash only amber or only white on the Thin X, totally possible. Now, being that those badges face backwards on about a 45-degree angle, you can see how much brighter that Thin X light is right here now that we're behind the truck, kind of towards the back tires. You can also see that Lin 8 doing a real good job behind right on the side bezel of the rear tail light there. That's for when you're backing out into traffic, when you're backing out of an alley or backing out of a parking lot or something like that, and you're 90 degrees from the traffic. That Lin 8 right there is going to do amazing things for the warning. Above that, you probably noticed the cargo light flashing. That's our cargo light auto flasher kit. At this time, that's a wire cut kit as well, but very simple, very easy to install. Alrighty. Now, right around the back of the truck here, you can see our auto flasher kit, our no-cut auto flasher kit, same as the front. It is a wire swap in the tail light plug. That's what's running those tail lights. And as I dial down the ISO, I can show you the color contrast. There. Now you can see that it is amber white in an X pattern similar to the front, same flash pattern. That's the triple flash 75 FPM, but that gives you your amber and your white in the rear tail lights without cutting any factory wires. We'll reset this back to about normal, and you can see just how bright it is. Now, in the middle of the tailgate, you might notice that small white LED flashing. That is actually part of the cargo light circuit. So as you follow the wire cut method for the cargo light, which interrupts the wire in the passenger sill, which we give you all these instructions when you purchase. When you follow that method of install, you are able to achieve this flashing light right here as well. If you interrupt the cargo up behind the roof at the very top, you can do that as well if you want to interrupt it right here instead, but then you will not be able to get this light here to flash if you do that. There are different methods all included in the instruction. You can kind of make your own call on what you want to do there. Now here's something I thought was pretty cool. This particular customer wanted some flood lighting added to his back rack, and you might notice he has a customer supplied mini bar up there as well, but we're not going to go into that. We're going to talk about the SS3 floodlights that we have mounted on the side of the back rack there. We used a riv nut insert right into a pre-made hole in the back rack, took out a plastic plug, and we put a 5/16 riv nut insert in there, and we bolted the lights right to the back rack using the included bracket. We wired them up to auxiliary switch number 5, and the cool part about this build is that we wired up also the flood light from the LIN 8 side facing on the taillight, as well as the floodlight from the Thin-X in the front badges. Now that's all activated by the flood switch on switch number 5. It doesn't matter if you have the emergency strobes on or off. As you can see, we can turn off the strobe lights and still retain the flood feature. The flood feature does override the strobe. So as you saw, the side badges and the side lights on the tail light, they will stop flashing and go flood if you want. It'll override it. Now, I did this just to throw a little bit more light around the truck. Obviously, those top SS3s he put in so he can get some more warning or some more work light around the truck. And by illuminating the Thin-X and the side badges and these LIN 8s, we're going to get a nice amount of side lighting down around the rear tails. And that's going to help him at nighttime see all around the truck. And those SS3s are going to be able to be aimed. You can turn them left or right or up or down a little bit depending on where you need them. But they do a real good job right up there on the back rack of illuminating everything around the back of the truck. I can try to show you a little bit about how much light you're going to get output here, but in the shop today, we are in a sunny condition, and I do have skylights, so it doesn't really give you a real good representation. This puts out a decent amount of light, definitely able to light up a good 10-car driveway or 6-car garage or whatever you're looking for. These lights really do kind of throw a good amount of light out to the side of the truck when they're in flood mode like this. Alrighty, now talk about wiring and talk about activation a little bit. This is a fairly simple system. The auto flasher cab clearance comes with everything you need. The white mirror plug-in is super easy. The auto flasher DRL and signal are going to come with everything you need. Now those HOD duos that we mounted in the front fog bezel, I used the long one for the driver and the short one for the passenger, and I was able to use the included wiring with that HOD duo to go right up to the auxiliary switch. It was really no big deal. We are running all of this off of 2 auxiliary switches, auxiliary switch 5 and 6. We're going to put 2 fuse kits in here as well, one for the flood, one for the flashing. However you want to split it up, you can do so at your own discretion. You do not need to follow everything that I do, especially related to the switching. Alrighty, now, related to the Thin-X's in the side badges, they're very easy to mount. I've actually got a how-to video we're going to link to right now, show you exactly how to mount those lights in the side badge. And we're going to go ahead and provide you with 25 feet of 22-5. That's going to be more than enough to extend the Thin-X badges over to your auxiliary switches so you can make your connections there. The passenger badge is quite short. You probably only need about 6 feet on that wire at the most, more towards about 5 feet. And the rest of the wire you'll use on the driver's badge to carry it across, either down the fender, across the radiator, or if you want to go across the back of the firewall, you can do that as well. Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and include those SS3 lights. And if you don't have a back rack, you could always mount them under the rear bumper. The way I've mounted them many times is right down here on the hitch, right on the end of the hitch. So I'm going to go ahead and include them, and it's up to you to decide if you're going to mount them on the back rack as shown or if you're going to mount them on the bumper. So you're going to get one set of those SS3 floodlights, and we're also going to get 50 feet of 16-2 wire. That's going to be more than enough to allow you to run them to the rear bumper if you want, or to run them up to the back rack as shown. Now 50 feet, you'll probably end up with a little bit of extra, but I want to make sure you have all the wiring you need to make the back rack pretty the way we did. We hid all the wiring behind it. We want to make sure that you have everything you need. The SS3s are going to come with about 6 inches of wire on them, and you're going to use that 16-2 to extend them all the way up to the fuse for aux switch number 5. Now, the other thing we're going to provide is, of course, your auto flasher kit for the rear, for your reverse and your signal. They come with all the wiring that you need. And what we did is we borrowed the power and the ground and the flood wiring from the reverse auto flasher kit to also power the Lin 8s. We ran that over there with a little bit of 22-5. We mounted all of our auto flasher modules on the passenger side tail light behind it and ran everything right up the frame. So I'm going to give you another 25 feet of 22-5, and that's going to extend both of these Lin 8s to your connections behind the passenger tail light. Behind the passenger tail light, we did not opt to use the flood feature on the reverse, but if you wanted to, you could. So if you'd like the reverse lights to flood as well, you can enable that via the wiring. We just basically borrowed that flood wire in the 18.5 extension and used it to power the flood on that Lin 8. I personally liked that the signals and reverse stayed flashing when the flood was on. That was my choice, but your truck, your rules, you could do it any way you like. There's definitely versatility and options when you set these patterns and program them. You can modify this package and make it your way. It's totally cool. So that's pretty much it. I think that went over everything on exactly how we did it. I hope you hang with me in a nice long video. I hope you enjoy some of the shorter videos I'm doing as well. And if you have any questions on this package, please reach out before you buy it. Let us know if we need to modify or tailor anything to suit your needs more appropriately. We can do that. Just drop an email to info@wickedwarnings.com. We're also, as I said, I'm going to put the 2 fuse holders in there for switches 5 and 6 or 1 and 2, whatever you like. I put the fuse kits in there because of 2 reasons. One, the Superduty auxiliary switch wiring is very short. So the 10-inch fuse holder adds a nice amount of wire. It makes it easier to get into and connect to. The factory wiring is very short. Way to go forward on that. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, they really should add about 12 inches more to their auxiliary loom and make it easier for us upfitters. So we also put a switch on there, a fuse on there, because factory fuse is very large. So, you know, especially for switches 5 and 6, they're very high amperage fuse from the factory, and we want to be able to dumb that down. This system here is running on a pair of 10s. I have a 10 amp in the flashing and a 10 amp in the flood, and they're both being powered just fine so far. That's what I'm using. Your results may vary. Check your draw always. If you need a unity meter to check your draw, we have them on the site. But that's how we did this. And we're going to put heat shrink in there, some connectors, some zip ties. I'm going to try to put everything that I can in there for you so you can do a successful install. Check the contents list thoroughly. If you want to modify anything on it, feel free. If you don't, that's great. Thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings. I hope this was thorough enough. And as I said, any questions at all, just let me know. We'll adjust the video. We'll straighten it out. We'll get you guys what you need. Thanks for hanging with me and watching. Thanks for tuning into this beautiful 2022 Superduty Tremor. I did forget to mention this is a Tremor. It's a Tremor with custom vinyl. See that? Flat black on gloss black. Very nice. Very cool. Very cool. Got a logo up front here too for the particular business that they're working at. So a couple other little nice add-ons here. Some ammo cans by the back rack, an American flag in the back window. Other little touches that we can do if you want to bring your truck in here and make it unique. Thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings, tuning into our beautiful Super Duty Tremor build. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Homewood Disposal.